As we now know, Zion Williamson and Ja Morant are two of the brightest young players in the NBA. After going number 1 and number 2 in the 2019 NBA draft, the two were also the likely favorites in the Rookie of the Year race and were competing for the 8th seed in the Western Conference, but their link goes further than the NBA. They both played on the same AAU team, and one that I would like to imagine was extremely dominant. But in a recent interview with TNT's Ernie Johnson, Zion stated that him and Ja weren't the first scoring option on the team. So who was the first option on that team? His name? Devontae Shuler. Born on February 9, 1998 in Columbia, South Carolina, Shuler's talent as a basketball player was almost apparent from day one. As the 7th of 8 children, he was toughened up by 3 older brothers on the basketball courts of Irmo, South Carolina. When he was younger, his older siblings would constantly be at the rec center playing basketball, and once Devontae proved that he had the talent, he began to go with them. His older brothers didn't take it easy on him, forcing him to grow and learn how to play tough and strong. Starting out in AAU as the number 1 scoring option, Shuler eventually transitioned to be a great scoring guard. After seeing Shuler play before he began his high school career, one writer commented on Shuler's skill, stating that he was overly impressed with the point guard. He has a Kyle Lowry attacking style, meaning he sets up teammates and also can finish in traffic. He ended his evaluation off by stating that Shuler loves the big moment. In 2013, playing at Irmo High School, Shuler earned Player of the Year honors for the JV team as they went 16-0. Standing at 5'10", he was the leading scorer, and he did all this while just being in 8th grade. He had even begun to dunk already. Shuler just continued to grow in both height and talent, and by his freshman season in 2013 and 2014, he grew to 6'2" and earned a spot on the varsity roster. Not surprising for a guy who had accomplished the things he did prior, but he worked hard to get to this point. Irmo was actually one of the better schools in the state, and they finished the season 26-2, ranking 2nd in the state and in the top 400 in the nation. He was nominated for the accolade of the most outstanding defensive player on his team for the 2013 and 14 season, and after attending more camps and earning more game time, he started to receive more national recognition from colleges. But between his 8th and 9th grade year, Devontae began to notice discoloration on his skin, and doctors ultimately came to the conclusion that he had vitiligo, a skin condition that causes discoloration. At first, Devontae was discouraged and didn't even want to go to school because he thought people would pick on him, but he later grew to become comfortable with it and embraced it. In late 2014, the middle of his sophomore season, he would be placed on ESPN's recruiting list for high school basketball players. Shuler continued to improve, and Irmo went 24-4, ranking at 6th in the state. By 2015, Devontae's ranking around the nation continued to grow, and to get even better, he made the decision to transfer to Oak Hill Academy in Virginia, which has helped develop and produce plenty of NBA talent such as Carmelo Anthony. It was better for his basketball career in general, as Devontae stated that back home, I was going to school, but I was hanging around the wrong people and getting in bad situations. My mom knew Oak Hill was going to be better for me on and off the court. It helped me with my priorities. I ran with it. Once I got to Oak Hill, I knew I was special. There was nothing looking back. He appeared in 27 games in 2015 and 16 according to the Oak Hill Hoops website, and averaged 10 points a game and 2 rebounds and 2 assists per game. He wasn't the starter on the squad just yet, but he still contributed great numbers. He continued to show his talent in the 2016 EYBL Summer Circuit, where he averaged 12 points and 3 rebounds a game while shooting 49% from the field and 39% from 3-point range. More opportunities arose for Shuler, and by his senior season in 2016-17, he received multiple offers and made many official visits. Oklahoma State, Clemson, Miami, Ole Miss, and South Carolina were among the top schools that sent offers for Shuler. On November 9, 2016, as a 4-star recruit, Shuler ultimately committed and signed his letter of intent to attend Ole Miss. It would have been great to him to attend South Carolina back in his home state, but he and his family thought it would be best if he stayed away from the area. In his final season at Oak Hill, he averaged 15.3 points, 4.3 rebounds, 4.1 assists, and 3.7 steals per game. His best game of the season came against Bull City Prep, where he dropped 40 points, the most in his high school career. At Ole Miss, Devontae scored 6 points per game as a freshman, grabbed 2.7 rebounds per game, and had 1 assist per game. The low assist tally was due to the fact that he primarily played off the ball, with Brian Tyree spending most of his minutes at the point guard spot. But the team during his freshman season wasn't great, and the head coach who recruited him there, Andy Kennedy, would resign from the program. It was reported that Devontae would transfer because of the situation down in Oxford, but after sitting down with new head coach Kermit Davis, he decided to stay. In his sophomore campaign, he earned even more game time and improved on his marks as a result. He moved to the primary point guard spot, playing 32 minutes a game, and started 31 of a possible 33 games. As a result, he averaged 10 points a game with 4 rebounds and 3 assists per game. He was good enough for 8th in the SEC in assist to turnover ratio at 1.7. His shooting numbers rose as well, going from 35% to 45% on field goals and 26% to 40% on three-pointers, but defense is where he really shined, averaging 1.7 steals a game, producing 10 games with at least 3 steals, and ranked 6th in the conference in steals. The team also reached the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2015, but they lost to Oklahoma in their first game. Shuler scored 13 points in that game. In this past junior campaign, he averaged almost 12 points per game to go along with 4.5 rebounds a game and 3 assists with 1.7 steals a game again. His shooting percentages took a dip, but he did have a great junior season that was of course cut short, but the team wasn't performing too well on the year. After having this season cut short and impressing in the last 2 seasons, it was thought that Devontae would jump ship and declare for the NBA draft. Ultimately, he decided to stay for his senior year, and in his words, he wants to show his ability 100% before he advances to play pro basketball. He looks to get more touches next year, and in his senior season, he looks to catapult his draft stock into a potential first round pick. He has all the talent in the world to do so, and he has his own unique basketball story. He's a great defender and a tough finisher around the basket, and those are qualities he's had since day one. His shooting on the outside is great too, and Devontae has made great strides to get better every season he's played basketball from the high school level to the college level, and his hard work is something that is going to take him far. He states that for me to have my mom, dad, and a lot of siblings, I got to learn a lot from them. Everyone in my family played basketball. No one made it to the pros or played big D1 basketball. I got exposure and they started making it harder on me, pushing me, telling me to have a dog mentality. Now that I'm here, looking back on how everything was, it amazes me. He looks to be the first one in his family to play in the pros, and with the mentality he has, who knows how far he can go. This has been a video on Devontae Shuler. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, I will see you guys next time.